Alright, I'm probably making a mistake by making this video, but the only thing in my Twitter feed anymore is skill-based matchmaking. All people are talking about is skill-based matchmaking this, skill-based matchmaking that, and while I don't want to beat this topic to death, I have a lot to say here. A lot about how people are talking about it, the types of people that are talking about it, as well as my own anecdotal experience, because even though I did upload a video called Dropping a Truth Nuke, where I, in the gameplay, dropped a nuke on people, explaining my experience with open matchmaking and the team balancing in the game, but since launch, I've sort of noticed a weird trend with the matchmaking that I didn't want to mention right off the bat, but seeing how it's the only thing people really seem to want to talk about, I'm not going to wait till Season 1, I'm just going to talk about what my current experience with the game is. So we have my experience, my opinion on other people's claims, my opinion on the people making the claims, and the topic in general. So, topic in general first, and to be clear, I'm not doing the type of skill-based matchmaking videos that a lot of you might be used to. I'm not making any sweeping claims about systems in place or that aren't in place. I'm not saying something isn't here or something is here. That's not what I'm saying, and I'm not trying to start any conspiracies. Nor am I trying to glaze Call of Duty or suck Activision's dick or whatever people say. Let's be real. Skill is a very difficult, broad topic when talking about a video game with, like, millions of players. Like, one of the reasons skill-based matchmaking when it's really strict, or engagement-optimized matchmaking when it's really strict, doesn't work is that a really good player can have off days, off play sessions, might be using weapons or perks or something they're not comfortable with to complete a challenge, and your matchmaking rating doesn't really account for you being a human being. You could take the best COD player in the world, and if they're sleep deprived or stressed or not well fed or dehydrated, they're not going to play as well. And these are all factors that matter. That's why somebody randomly on Twitter going, my lobbies are too sweaty, doesn't mean anything to me. Because I don't know if that person's playing on a 55-inch TV that's not in game mode across the room with no headset. There are so many people I hear in game chat that have their game audio blasting through speakers and somebody next to them snoring and people arguing in the room while they're playing, and it's like, does that guy go on Twitter and complain about skill-based matchmaking when, like, I mean, at that point, can you even call yourself in a competition? Like, you're essentially just shooting things or shooting at things at that point. You can't be competitive there. So, if you're getting your ass kicked and everyone seems sweatier than you, like, first of all, that's not how skill-based matchmaking would work. You would have sort of meandering 1 KD, 1 win-loss experiences. And you know, that's another thing. I see people talking about skill-based matchmaking like it makes the game harder, but it can't be making the game harder for all of you. It can't be making the game harder for all of you. It should be creating a sort of if it was as strict as it was in 2019 and Vanguard and MW2 and whatever, then your matches should sort of be a little 1 KD, a little 1 note, a little back and forth, you know, unless you're really in a protected bracket where kind of nothing happens, or in a really, really strict upper bracket where you're sort of, you know, fighting for your life, Godspeed, good luck, soldier. But everyone describes it as something that just makes the lobby sweaty. Like, I'm so tired of how skill-based matchmaking makes me get pub stomped every match. Skill-based matchmaking was put in place so that you wouldn't get pub stomped every match. If you're getting pub stomped every match, you're loading into a game, playing like total ass, we don't know how or why you're playing like total ass, giving the enemy team momentum, and they're rolling you with streaks and spawn traps, and get over it. I don't know. I can't take it seriously, because this is one of those cases where I don't know you. I don't know what your experience is. There are people that play on like 720p TVs at 60 frames without a headset, and they're like, I don't know if they're the ones complaining. I don't know. I have no idea. So this is one of the rare cases where I can't really listen to the average person at all, because unless you show me your setup and your stats and your experience in the game, I can't value your take on the matchmaking. So people just take everyone saying it's there as, oh, something is clearly wrong. But most people, A, don't know what skill-based matchmaking or engagement-optimized matchmaking is or does, or what the trends and ebbs and flows of it are, enough to actually define it. And then there's a million factors with that player that shake up what their experience could be. So it's not anywhere near scientific or conclusive to assume that an average person's claim means anything beyond complete and utter confirmation bias based on a completely anecdotal experience. You see how this is just really shitty to talk about? So then you think, well, at least there's like high skill players, right? And they know ball, and they've been playing COD for years. And we have big YouTubers like Havoc or Marksman talking about matchmaking, and so they gotta be right about it, right? Nero Cinema's gotta be right about it because they've been playing so long. And this is where this video gets controversial, and it's gonna sound like I'm defending skill-based matchmaking, but I'm not. I don't want skill-based matchmaking. I want open matchmaking. I wouldn't mind if skill wasn't considered at all, and all of the brackets were opened up and it was just region-based matchmaking. I will fight the best and the worst players in my region every match. That'd be great, but that's never existed in COD. We'll get to that more in a second. So just so it doesn't sound like I'm not defending skill-based matchmaking, let me just explain this to you really clearly. I'm not defending skill-based matchmaking, but also, let's be so for real right now. If you're a top 250 player, like Havoc, or you are an ungodly player, like an ungodly pub stomper, or somebody with 20 years of public match COD experience, where you are good at the game, and if enemies give you an inch, you will take a mile. You know, that's the type of player I think I am. If I'm honest, guys, with Black Ops 7, because the matchmaking has been very diverse and not strict for me, I can definitely tell it's taking my skill into account. I'm not in a protected bracket, but it's been very diverse, and it's been a very fun experience. The moment an enemy team gives me an inch, I take a mile. I've gotten multiple gameplays getting legions, I've gotten 2 nukes, and the moment an enemy team shows me that they're not on the ball, that they're not on point, that they're missing shots, that they're shooting the wind, I'm gonna start having too much fun. And my stats are gonna go up. Before I did my 12-hour Nuketown livestream, I had a 2.6 KD in this game. I know elimination death ratio isn't as impressive as an actual kill death ratio, but you guys see what I'm saying, right? Like, I had like a 500 score per minute, 2.6 EMD, and that's, come on, it's kind of cool. So of course, because my skill is being minimally considered, my matchmaking is still being skewed in the direction of me being somebody that will ruin an enemy team's day if I'm given that inch. Do I think that's fine and I should be able to do that? Yeah, but I also get it. And that's also always been like this. So that's what I want to talk about next. You got these players that are so far above the average person. You have people like Havoc who grinded rank to like top 250 solo in previous COD games, wondering why his matchmaking is sweaty. Bro, you're fucking God. Back in the day, Optic Scumper used to make alt accounts to get gameplay in Black Ops 2, and it was a massive controversy. People would play with lower level players. They was like unofficial 2-boxing, they would use Smurf accounts, people would lobby shop, people would reverse boost. My entire childhood growing up with Call of Duty YouTube was this discussion. When I was first just playing Call of Duty at friends' houses before I owned my own copy, and I would watch YouTube videos about it when I got home, I saw conversations about reverse boosting and lobby shopping. I was there, I lived through this shit. So while I definitely think the matchmaking should be more open, when you see a top 250 player, when you see somebody that's in the top like 5% of Call of Duty's entire skill bracket complaining that their matchmaking is basically a ranked game, they're allowed to say that because yeah, it probably is. Are they allowed to complain about it? That's up to you guys. I kind of lean on the side of no. I feel like if I'm that good of a COD player and I can just go get 250 in ranked, I'm not sure why I also need to be able to go into pubs and completely make games unwinnable for people and make everyone rage quit every game. And a lot of these YouTubers that are complaining about the matchmaking, I'm gonna give them credit. They still go in, they get nukes, they get high kill gameplays, they're still gods. So in my opinion, they earn the right to complain, but also it's like, get real. Like, look at who you are, look at what you do. And even if you were in Black Ops 2, like all the way back in 2012, right, you still would have been put in that upper bracket, and that's worth mentioning, it's worth noting. But anyway, when you see these players complaining about the matchmaking, all I ask is that we don't pretend, how about we just don't pretend to relate to them, all right? You don't relate to Havoc's struggle, you don't relate to Scump's struggle, you don't relate to Marksman's struggle. And I know in previous Call of Duties before Black Ops 6, even if you were just like an average player, your games would probably feel harder for you because of just how the matchmaking would sort of give you this meandering 1 KD, 1 win-loss experience, which does make the game feel pretty annoyingly competitive when you're just trying to play. But if that system was in place in this game, I just ask you guys, with all of the hours I have live streamed, with all of these live streams under my belt, can you please tell me why I haven't had that experience? Can you please tell me why dropping nukes and legions and harps and just decimating enemy teams until they rage quit multiple times has not given me that strict experience? Can somebody please explain to me why I do not have my Black Ops 6 experience repeating at all in this title. Why is the game being so nice to me and so difficult for all of you? Is it just maybe because of the human factor I was talking about earlier, where maybe I'm just sort of inconsistent and require that inch to take a mile, so the game gives me the inch and I take the mile, but as soon as I don't have the inch, I get completely decimated, so maybe it's a lack of momentum consistency, so maybe I only perform well under certain scenarios, so that kind of skews my MMR on a per match basis. Like, sure, like all of this could be happening, and I just have a problem with over-analyzing every aspect of myself as a person, my entire, like, everything that goes into me being a COD player. Let's say that. Everything that goes into me being a COD player and how I play, I have trouble obsessing over that because I don't want to tweak over every single enemy that knows how to shoot back. Every time my ping is slightly above 20, I don't want to overanalyze that, because more importantly, I know what that strict ebb and flow of the old matchmaking felt like. I know what 2019 to 2024 felt like. They were predictable. I could predict matches. That's not happening in this game, so even when I am getting decimated, I'm not immediately granted an easy lobby afterwards, especially since, first of all, I don't fucking leave every time an enemy team is good. Sometimes I stay in the lobby to rematch them, and then when you do that, you also learn that sometimes you didn't get decimated because of skill-based matchmaking, you got decimated because the enemy team was just better than your team, and they got momentum that your team didn't get. And if you just rematch them, grab that momentum, steal it from them, start getting streaks, start getting map control, you can dominate the same team that just dominated you. Again, Call of Duty is a momentum-based game because of how map control works, how spawn control works, how streaks roll in. So the momentum compounds on itself and can leave you feeling completely dominated. I mean, back in MW2, every time I got pinned in my spawn due to a chopper gunner, or an AC-130, or somebody got a tactical nuke, that wasn't because of skill-based matchmaking, it's because they got fucking momentum. And the great thing about these persistent lobbies is, when you get decimated like that, you can fight back. But it's like people are fishing for these perfect lobbies where nobody really shoots back and nobody really fights and there's not really a match. They want to be able to go in and pub stomp again. They're all excited about pub stomping again, but they didn't realize that the reason we didn't want skill-based matchmaking, the reason we wanted persistent lobbies wasn't to pub stomp every match, it's so that we could actually have a gameplay experience, a gameplay story. We could actually have an enemy team that we rematch multiple times. It is easy to dominate one match of pubs, but it is not easy to keep doing it against the same team as they learn your tactics. I have been absolutely mollywopped by an enemy team in Black Ops 7. I stayed in the lobby, they stayed in the lobby, and the next game, I got the upper hand and I got to win. Call of Duty isn't about being the best, it's about when everything comes together. It's about when everything lines up and everyone does their job properly, and then great things happen. Expecting to just have this pub stomping experience every game, or even like a balanced, competitive, cute little back and forth match every game, is ridiculous. Sometimes you're gonna catch momentum or they're gonna catch momentum, and that's gonna dictate the entire rest of the match. And unless you're gonna tell me everybody's set up on the enemy team, what kind of PC are they running? Are they on Xbox One, Xbox One X, Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PS5, PS5 Pro? Are they on a PS4? Controller, mouse and keyboard? Are they playing at 120 hertz? Are they playing at 300 frames? Or what are they doing? Like, I feel like my KD and my performance was really good until I started going for headshot camos with crappy SMGs. Are the people on the enemy team going for camos? Is your team going for camos? Is your team costing you the game? Come at me with all of that information. We don't have it. We do not have it. So now I need to go into my anecdotal experience. And by the way, and I'm not saying, this is such a freestyle video, this is such a mess. I am not saying that because you can't prove all of these other factors that your opinion just doesn't matter. I'm asking you to try to think about those variables and think about how many variables there are before you form your opinion. I'm not telling you your opinion is bad. I'm giving you a little bit of homework. Think about this before you form your opinion. Think about this before you take someone seriously. The factors at play here are insane. All of you can't be so good you're in the top 10% protected bracket. And there's no way all of you are trying to get into that bottom like 30% protected bracket of people that bump into walls and can't shoot straight. Something's gotta give. There's gotta be some nuance here, and I feel like it's just like, yep, my lobbies are sweaty. What does that mean? What does that mean to you? What is a sweaty lobby to you? Do you know how many people I've heard in game chat over the years just say, oh man, this guy's a sweaty no-life, and I'm like, barely playing, and I'm like, what does this person think is sweaty? Like my first match on, I have cement in my boots, I'm not doing any movement tech or anything, and I'm just getting kills. I'm positioning myself on a head glitch and just shooting people, and people are like, oh man, this guy's a no-life. It's like, some of you really just fucking suck. Alright, so my experience with the matchmaking is pretty negative, actually. It is open, it is diverse, it is not as strict or as frustrating, it does not have the same predictable ebbs and flows of the last 6 CODs, and you can ask my stream viewers. Stream viewers, if you guys watch me live, comment down below your experience watching me play. And there's one experience that I can easily replicate with about 100% consistency, not exaggerating. And now that this video's gone on long enough to sort of weed out the people that are just angry all the time and cannot compensate for skill issues and can't think about this with any sort of nuance, we've weeded them out. They've already left their angry comment, they've already clicked away, they've already thrown their bitch fit. Okay, I need to know how many of you are experiencing what I'm experiencing. In Black Ops 7, if I'm playing for a while and I start to get some harder matches, some sweatier matches, more specifically sweatier, higher ping matches, which would indicate stricter matchmaking as I do better throughout my play session. If I rage quit a game, sometimes it takes rage quitting 2 games in a row, or if I rage quit, instantly rematchmake and it puts me back in the lobby, my next game after the rage quit, or maybe 2 rage quits, is way too easy. It's like the matchmaking on my play sessions is very open and diverse for a while, and then as I play, it gets a little bit more strict, which is what we experienced with skill-based matchmaking back in the previous games, though this one is not as strict, and it takes a lot longer, because back in like BO6, MW3, MW2, like an hour and a half in, decimated. Like sweaty, higher ping, just worse experience overall. And my stream viewers will attest to this. Around the hour and a half mark, sometimes the 2-hour mark, my matches start to get really sweaty. Whereas in BO7, I can stream for like 4, 5, 6, 7 hours without really having too much of an issue. But if I get into a difficult game and I rage quit it, the game seemingly goes, oh god, the one boom is rage quitting. What if he stops playing altogether? How scary would that be if he just stopped playing today because our matches got to him? And then the matchmaking opens up. My next match is like lower ping and seemingly more in my region and is a lot less strict, and I have a wide variety of players. Now, I have to confess something. My day 1 nuke gameplay, this happened. So on the 13th, when I took my quote-unquote trip to New Zealand to play the game early, I noticed this happening because I backed out of a couple games for other reasons. And when I rematch made, the lobbies were more open. Because I was kind of backing out for ping-related issues. I was getting into matches that were like 90 millisecond ping, and I'm like, I can't handle this, I had to back out. And my next game was like 30 millisecond ping, which is weird because I didn't think there would be that many US servers open, but it was full of people that just weren't very good. So I was like, okay, that's weird. And then on launch day, I had a really terrible sweaty game where my team was absolutely scamming me, and I genuinely rage quit. I was like, holy shit, I can't take this chat, I gotta back out. I backed out, hopped into another game, and I called in a freaking nuke on Blackheart. And I am proud of that nuke. I mean, that nuke came down to a couple of like really key gunfights. I was 1 bullet away from losing that nuke multiple times, and with a scavenged weapon, I'm proud of it. And getting a nuke is hard even if you kind of have to cheese it. But I do not think I would have had an enemy team that would have let me get that had I not rage quit before. And now it is a replicatable thing in my live streams where if a match is really hard, I will joke with my chat that, hey guys, if I back out of this match, we can get a noob lobby. And I do it, and it happens every time. And I wanted to share this experience because I want to see if anyone else is noticing this. Play your play sessions until you get into a game that's really, really sweaty, preferably one where the ping is higher than normal. Those are like the 2 criteria. The game is a bit harder, the enemies are shooting a bit straighter, they're using a lot more movement, and the ping has to be higher That way you know that the matchmaking is a bit stricter, it's not as open, it's not really in your region, it found you those players meticulously. After dying too many times, or watching your team just fail to play the game, back out and rematchmake. If it puts you back in the same lobby, which I do believe is just Call of Duty's rejoin protection, so in case you lag out of a match and you immediately rematchmake, you have a chance to come back. I do think that is a thing. I feel like that's always been a thing, but if it's because of the matchmaking, then fuck me, that's annoying, but whatever. Doesn't matter. Back out again if you get the same lobby, or go join another like in-match lobby, or like, you know, session in progress. Back out again if you need to. It's always only been 2 times. 2 times max for me. And then when you do that, how easy is that next game? Tell me. Please leave it in the comment section below. How easy is that next game? And I was thinking about this like all day while I was at work. If I make a skill-based matchmaking video where I tear apart all of the nuances of it and say that it's too complicated and it's weird, and, you know, I share my rant. I share my rant, I talk about things. If the video's long enough, then the only people remaining at the end of the video will actually give a shit enough to actually give me this information, and I can start to maybe narrow down if I could make a second video. I guess it'd be my 3rd video on the matchmaking, where I talk about rage quit matchmaking and how I think that might be how they're doing player retention this year. Taking players that are having a difficult time, you know, a difficult enough time to rage quit the game, and giving them easier lobbies, giving them less strict lobbies. And I would imagine for really bad players, it takes them and puts them into their protected bracket, and for higher skill players, it puts them in at least a more open, diverse bracket. And genuinely, guys, it is just a theory. I am not saying anything here. I'm not making any claims. I'm not starting any conspiracies. It's been a very replicatable experience for me, so I wanted to see if anyone else could replicate it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you made it to this point in the video, please type sweatband in your comment. Then I know you watched all the way through to the end. If I don't see sweatband in your comment, I'm gonna assume you replied before I finish talking, and I don't know if you've ever been in a conversation, but that's not how this works. Anyway, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.